with our Cherokee story, with our origin story, it starts out long ago when the whole earth was covered in water. When the whole earth was covered in water, the animals didn't live here. Nobody lived here. They all lived in the sky world. When they lived in the sky world, of course, you had all the winged animals, you had the crawlers, you had the finned animals, you had the winged creatures as well. And so these animals, they coexisted with one another, but at times it got difficult. At times it became crowded in the sky world. And so the creator, we call our creator Unehanahi would send down animals one at a time to this world here. The first one that the creator sent down was the Unishi, the water beetle. And once the water beetle had been brought down to this world, the water beetle went into the water, went deep into the ocean, went far down as they could go, and they found mud. They brought that mud back up to the surface. And so that mud became one giant island. And so once this island became formed, once the world was formed, the next creature that was brought down was Shuli, the buzzard. And so the buzzard was brought down. And they say that the buzzard was so large, his wings were so huge, that when he flew his wing upwards, he could create mountains. When he flew them back down, he created valleys. So he did this all throughout the world, just flying his wings upwards and flying them downwards, creating mountains and creating valleys. But once he got to this part of the country, once he got to this part of the world, his arms got tired, especially like in the Appalachian area. And so his wings were getting faster and flapping faster, creating mountains left and right. And so Creator noticed there's too many mountains being built, so he brought them back up to the sky world. And so after that, more animals were introduced, more animals playing a big part within society, within our world. And so, you know, throughout today, you will see dances, probably from the Choctaw people, from the Cherokee people, and of course our Creek people, the original inhabitants of this area here, the Muskogee people. And so, but you will see dances being done for different reasons, giving thanks to the world, giving thanks to the Creator, to everything around us. When Cherokees, we do our dances, we acknowledge everything around us, not just not just ourselves as people, but we must acknowledge the animal lives. We must acknowledge the four-leggeds, the winged animals, the fin, the crawlers, every form of animal, not to mention the plant life that existed here long before us. And so, but once those animals became introduced into this world, you know, it was said that it started to get cold. And as it got cold, the winters came, the seasons changed, and so the animals were getting cold and freezing, and so they would huddle next to each other to keep warm until finally they asked the Creator for forgiveness. They asked for help. They asked for guidance. And so the Creator would talk to the thunders. The thunders would send lightning to this world here. And where we come from, Gadua, which is the center for us, which is, you guys know as Cherokee. And so that is when the lightning had struck this giant sycamore tree. And this tree became engulfed in flames, and so the animals, they could feel that warmth, they could feel that, and they could see it, and they knew they had to go get it, because that warmth, they knew that's what was going to help them survive. And so the first animal that went to go retrieve that fire, the first one, from what I've heard, was the raven. Koana, the raven, at one time had beautiful white feathers. They say that whenever the raven flew in the sky, you could see those rainbow colors coming from that bird. And so whenever the raven went towards that fire, went right towards the smoke had turned his feathers black. And that's why you see a raven today, and that's why they're black. And if you grab a raven feather and hold it towards the sun, that you're gonna see those colors still there to this day. And so, but after that one though, then came the owls. You had the hoot owl and the screech owl. It was said that the hoot owl went to the fire, went towards the smoke, and the ashes got in his eyes. He started rubbing his eyes really hard. And he rubbed them so hard that white circles formed around his eyes. And you see those on the hoot owl still to this day. And as for the screech owl went right towards the flame, got burnt right in his eyes. And today, when you see that screech owl, you'll see that his eyes are still orange and red from long ago. And so after that day, after those animals went, the next one that went was the water spider. the water spider went along and tried to go retrieve this fire. The water spider was so small and so tiny that she could walk across the water and not sink down. And so she walked across the water and she got mud. She dug up from near the river and she grabbed that mud and she made it into, sorry, I messed that up. Anyway, no, she did not get mud. She actually got the webbing from her body. She got the webbing from her body and made a bowl. And she took that bowl to that burning tree. And so she went inside the tree, found a tiny, tiny ember. She grabbed that ember, she put it inside her bowl, and she took it back across the water and took it back to the animals. And since then, our people have had fire. In our language, we go by Ocmulgee. And so I've also heard Ocmulgee, which means the people of the center, the people of the mother town, the nucleus. Then of course we've heard Cherokee, and there's all sorts of terms we go by. Cherokee was not our original name. I think because of English corruption, it changed how that name sounded. But more commonly, we go by the Ocmulgee, or you can say Gadua for short. And so, but that's the name we go by. And I've always been told that there were forms of fires in existence. The physical fire itself, the fire that like during our ceremonial dances, like as we had our stumps and logs out here signifying that fire that we would dance around, we're praying to. But also the physical fire, the sun is a form of life. Fire is a form of life. And so the sun is what we need to keep things growing, to give us life every day. And so of course the third one I've heard was our internal fire, the fire from within. And so that fire that keeps us going every day, you must always tend to that fire and always keep that burning. And so, and traditionally also within our homes, we always had a fire burning at the council house, in the townhouse. And so our people would get a fire pot, and they would take it to that council house fire, gather an ember, take it back to their home and start their fire with that. And so, but fire plays a big important role within our society. And that's why we believe we must tell that story and preserve that story. And so, but other than that though, that's our creation story. Thank you.